Well, good morning, everybody. I thought I would jump on live and just test my internet this time of morning because I haven't had very good luck with it later in the day. So that's why I'm online this morning. If I get people to join me, then that's fantastic. If not, then that's okay too. But I've been scheduling lives for later in the day, and my internet just did not do very well. So I'm testing it this morning. See how it shows up on my on my phone. I got my coffee this morning. Y'all grab a cup and join me. Just trying to get online with my computer here. Well, may try it without it. Good morning. It shows that I've got 3 watching. Come on in, chat. Join me. Get you a cup of coffee. Let's have our morning coffee together. Ooh, that's hot, but it's so good. Come on in, y'all. Join me. I've got buns on the stove cooking to go with my barbecue that I'm making for later. In fact, I need to check it. I was going to buy some ready-made buns, and those things are just almost nothing. And I said, they charge you $3-4 for a bun. And I said, I think I'm just going to go home and make my own. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm making my own. Randy Rose, good morning. Yes, I'm feeling lots better. I've been wearing a mask every day except for when I do videos a lot of times, or when I go live I take it off. But yeah, I feel lots better. And I'm just testing my internet this morning. I wanted to see how my live streams went early in the morning versus in the afternoon. So far, is my picture coming over clear to everybody in chat? Or how is it doing right now? Like I said, good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in here and join me. Get in the chat. Let's talk and have coffee this morning. Looks good to me. Well, great. It's always good to hear. Because I may start having my lives earlier in the day rather than wait till late in the afternoon. Because there's so many people online later in the day. It kind of jams up my Wi-Fi reception or something. I don't know what it's doing. Well, I've got 6 watching. Are they all 7 right now? Come on into chat, guys. Join me. Let's chat. Have a cup of coffee. Get you a cup of coffee. Randy Ross is the only one that showed up in chat so far. Come on in, guys. Don't stand back there waiting. Just come on in. Chat with us. I don't know about melons or pumpkins. Um, you need to check the the length of time it takes to produce anything. I know right now you can plant squash, kale, Swiss chard, maybe even cucumbers. I've got enough cucumbers vines out there that if it levels off, they'll be able to produce some more cucumbers for me. But I have planted squash, yellow squash, zucchini. I'm still planting basil because I've got, those basil seedlings out there in that pot where I planted some seeds here a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I've been planting yellow squash and zucchini because they have a shorter production length of time. So they should be able to come up, produce you some zucchini and yellow squash, but way before it ever turns cold weather. So check the production rate or the length of time on your seeds before you plant anything and see how long it takes to produce, and then you'll know whether you can plant it or not, because I don't know what your frost date is. It may be different than mine. Mine is usually like the 1st of November. Um, Sometimes it's like the very end of October. So I've still got plenty of time to start zucchini, squash, and that type of thing. The squashes, basically. Add a believer. I noticed that you pray before you eat, but who to? You never use his name. You go to church. It's Sunday. Are you Seventh Day? No, I'm not a Seventh Day Adventist or whatever you call it. I used to go to church every Sunday. I spent 20 years singing in the choir. But unfortunately, I had some bad experiences with some people that went. So I do not go to church anymore. I don't think you've got to go to church on Sunday morning to be a Christian. I don't think you have to be in church on Sunday morning to live right. So I choose not to go to church. I worship God. He is my Savior. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. So, but to answer your question, no, I do not go to church anymore. I used to go every single Sunday. I do not go to church anymore. Just put it down to some bad experiences and, yeah, leave it at that. Check your dates on your melons. See how long it takes to produce anything before you plant seeds. And if you have enough time for it to mature and produce fruit before your first frost date, go ahead and plant it. I mean, just because it's, midsummer basically doesn't mean you can't still plant a garden, because you can. You can't plant everything like lettuces and, things like that because they don't like hot weather. But, yeah, your zucchini, squash, all that kind of stuff, yeah, you can. And I've still got tomato seedlings out there that I've got to find a place to put. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to mature and produce tomatoes. Last year, my tomatoes revived themselves at the end of the summer, and they put on a ton of tomatoes. And that's where I picked my green tomatoes to make my chow chow that I canned last year. So, I already know I'm not going to have peppers to make my cowboy candy because I don't have my hot peppers growing. But if I get enough of the bell pepper growing, which I've got quite a few plants out there, and they produce bell peppers, I can make chow chow with the bell pepper and just add a little bit of jalapeno to warm it up just a tiny bit because I don't like it real hot. Yeah, my bell peppers and my okra, all that stuff is still living. I've got Swiss chard. I've got some of the greens that are growing. Um, other than Swiss chard. I can't remember the name of them. But they'll wilt, in the heat of the day, but then they revive themselves later in the evening. And if you keep water to them, they'll keep growing and producing all summer. And right all winter as well. I mean, looks like we got 7 in here, but we've only got 2 people in chat. Y'all come on in, get your coffee. Sit down and drink you a cup of coffee with me this morning. Test out my internet or my Wi-Fi. I wanted to see if it, caused a big problem getting fuzzy and buffering and all that kind of stuff this early. I also wanted to see how many people I could get just to pop in at the last minute. Hi, farm wife. How are you doing this morning? Get you a cup of coffee and join us. We're just in here chatting, testing out my internet. I didn't notify anybody. I said, well, if it messes up and it starts buffering and it gets fuzzy, I'm just going to end it anyway. But so far, it's doing okay, seems like. How y'all doing this morning? I started making a video last night on some chicken barbecue. So I've had it going in the crock pot all night, and I'm going to finish the video with me taking it out and how I prepare it. And I've already got some homemade rolls cooking in the pan right now. I started to get some of them at the store, and I said they're just so flimsy. I mean, you put anything on them and they just they flatten out and they're nothing. And I said, I'm just going to make me some homemade buns. So that's what's in the pan right now over there on my stove. I'm here for a while, going to watch church online. I am good. I'm just great. Like I said, I basically got online to check out my internet. Good morning, April. How are you doing today? Aloha. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be another hot one, though. How's April this morning? Get you a cup of coffee and join us. Oh my goodness, 4:15 a.m. where you're at. I can never get used to the time differences in different areas of the country. That's early. Why are you up so early? You're still in bed? Well, that's okay. I'd still be in bed too if it was 4:15 a.m. here. Well, did you just wake up and notice I was online, or could you not sleep and just started checking the internet and found me? Yeah, what's the weather like where you're at, April? It's going to be another hot and steamy day here today. TTT Sharon, good morning. How are you? It's been like 103 to 105 every day this week. It's raining. Oh my God, April, I need some of that rain. Send me some of that rain. Good morning, Gladys. How are you? She says it's good morning about time. Well, like I was telling everybody, I went online this morning just to check out the internet because I wanted to see how, it would be this morning versus the way it's been acting in the afternoon. So, I mean, if it does good this morning, I may start going live earlier in the day instead of waiting, till 3 o'clock in the afternoon when my Wi-Fi's been terrible. We will have passing showers all day. Oh my God, that sounds so good, April. We need some of that rain desperately here in Texas. Oh, what I do for rain right now. Just came in from the garden hunting tomato hornworms. Yeah, they'll do a number on your plant. This is the first year I've had them actually get on my bell pepper plants. They ate one bell pepper right down to the stem. I mean, it's nothing but a blank stalk sticking up out of the pot. That hornworm ate every bit of the leaves, the stem, everything except the main stalk of that bell pepper plant. I didn't realize they would eat a bell pepper plant. I thought they loved tomatoes and tomatillos and stuff like that. Gladys says I need some chicken soup. Well, wait till you see my video that I'm doing today. I probably won't post it till tomorrow, but I'm making barbecue sandwiches, and it's chicken instead of pork. It's chicken that I fixed in the crock pot all night. I'm going to finish the video today and probably get it posted sometime tomorrow. I was telling everybody I've got my buns on cooking now on the stove. I started to buy some buns and they just look so flimsy. They go to nothing after you put meat or anything on them. So I decided to make some homemade ones. You lost 3 tomato plants and found them on my taters. Hornworms on your taters? I guess that's what you meant. Yeah, I'm hungry too, but I got my coffee. It's making my belly warm. I know, I don't like those old hornworms. Ooh, they're terrible. And they mean business too. They can destroy a whole plant overnight almost. This is a good time to go live. Yeah, I was thinking because my internet, my Wi-Fi just kept buffering and getting fuzzy and all that kind of stuff, when I went live later on in the day. So I decided to try it early this morning. Yeah, they eat all night shade plants, but chickens love them. Well, I don't have chickens to feed them to, so I just throw them back out in the woods somewhere and hope they go away. Well, if you don't have hornworms, April, consider yourself lucky because they will eat your plants. They will devour a tomato plant, pepper plant, just about anything. Yeah, they eat all night shade plants. I bet chickens do love them. They fought over, the chickens fought over the hornworm. Yeah, I imagine that's some good eating to them. That's like eating steak. That's like giving them a T-bone steak. I gotta check on my rolls over here. I'll be right back. I had to flip them over so they don't burn. Y'all will see them later on in my video. Sharon, the farm wife said, Sharon, my son gave one to the chickens and they fought over it. TT Sharon says, LOL, mine too, better than watching TV. I was looking to help you. I found out all bugs don't like mint. Yeah, mint helps. I mean, mint, marigolds, stuff like that. If you plant it in your garden, it helps keep a lot of different bugs away. The only problem is most of my marigolds died this year. It got some kind of disease on them, and I've never had that happen before. I know, farm wife. I don't like to watch news anymore. It's totally depressing. And you know what? My ex-husband called me one day, and he was mentioning tornadoes in northern Texas. And he said, were you bothered with any of the tornadoes? I said, no, not down this far. And he said, well, you know, on the news they were telling about the tornadoes destroyed a whole town up in northern Texas, right up on the Oklahoma border. And I said, no, I didn't know that. He said, well, don't you watch the news? I said, no, it's too depressing. He said, well, that's stupid. He said, you got to watch the news to keep up with what's going on in the world. I said, I know enough of what goes on in the world. I don't need to watch the news and hear it all. But he just thought that was stupid that I didn't watch the news and keep up with all that crap. I told him, he said, well, what do you do about the weather? I said, well, I have a weather app on my phone, and it notifies me of bad weather. And we have a system in my county that if there's bad weather approaching, they'll call you and give you a weather warning. Or if there's a tornado anywhere close by, it'll tell, they'll call you and let you know, take cover, you know. And that's well before it ever gets here. So, yeah, the news, not so much the weather, but the news itself, politics, all that stuff is just, I don't even want to hear it anymore. Oh no, you're overrun with hornworms and leaf rot. Oh my goodness. That's terrible, TTT Sharon. That is terrible. Watching the time. I've gotten, I think, 3 hornworms off of plants this year. I got 2 off of 2 different tomato plants, and I got 1 off of that pepper plant that I just mentioned. That the hornworm had eaten all the limbs. The leaves, the stems, right down to the main stalk coming up out of the pot. And I've left it there hoping it'll put back out leaves since the hornworm's gone. But I'll probably go back out there and find another one on it as soon as it puts out new leaves. No, I didn't think to notify her. She's not been feeling well, so I didn't notify her this morning because I wasn't sure if I was even going to stay online. I said if I get online and it's all fuzzy and it starts buffering, I'm just going to end it. But so far it's not done that, so I've been online with it, so we'll see what happens. It's nice to be able to go live and it not buffer and get so fuzzy you can't even see a picture. The lady that won the little magnet pot, she sent me a message yesterday telling me she got it, but she's here in the States. Slim Twiggy won the little brooch and she lives in Canada, so it'll take a little while for it to get there. But that lady told me, she says, oh, that little pot is so cute. She says, I love it. Good, April. I'm glad it looks good on your end because so far it's looked good here too. Yeah, I had a few seeds left from my yellow squash and zucchini, and I decided to go ahead and replant some of that out there in the pink totes and one of my buckets at the top. Yeah, she thought it was. I never even thought about it, on the magnet board behind me. I don't know. I was thinking about that yesterday. I said, what am I going to give away next time? I can only afford probably to do one giveaway a month or something like that because the postage is so high. Oh my goodness. Just a small box costs you anywhere from $15 to $28, especially to send to Canada. And I sent a little box out not long ago, and it was over $15 just for that little tiny box right here in the United States. So it's not cheap. I bought stuff. I don't know if I can afford that. It cost me $15 to mail that little box of cookies, Gladys. I can't afford to do that very often because I have to buy the ingredients to make the cookies, and then it costs me $15 to mail them. So that's some expensive cookies right there, girl. I'd love to do giveaways all the time, but sometimes the postage is more than the item is, that you're trying to mail. Gladys says, I'll pay you. Well, I bought the stuff to make the cookies. I haven't made them yet. I haven't decided what day I'll make them. And then, too, I'm kind of worried if I mail them that the chocolate is going to melt in the cookies in the box because it's so hot. I know. Everything has got it's so expensive. I got to go check my rolls again. They should be okay now. I turned the heat off, so. Oh, TTT Sharon, you lucky. I got 5 pumpkins before the heat took them. But I have replanted zucchini and green beans. And, well, Linda, we are here for you, not your prizes. Well, that's nice to know. Yeah, I replanted a few of those foot-long beans because they do so well in my yard. I just wished I'd have planted a lot more of them sooner. The other beans, the bush beans and stuff, they grew, but as soon as it got real hot, they just died. I mean, the plant just fried. Those foot-long beans are the only thing that survived bean-wise out there in my yard. Good morning, Slim Twiggy. She says, I just got up, was nice to sleep in. Well, like I told everybody, I had not planned on going live this morning, but I did it because I mainly wanted to test out my Wi-Fi. Do I want watermelon seed? I can always use seeds. I don't know if I could plant them this time of year, though. They may not have time enough to produce anything. Just getting coffee. Yeah, that's one reason I decided just on the spur of the moment to go live this morning. I was testing out the Wi-Fi to see if it would buffer or, get a real fuzzy. Because it gets real fuzzy later in the afternoon. And it buffers all the time. And I didn't like that. So, I mean, I'm nothing to look at anyway. But when it gets all fuzzy and distorted, I look even worse. Well, as soon as it cools off just a tiny bit, you should start getting a lot more beans. Mine's still producing. I get 2 or 3 maybe at a time, but as soon as it cools off a tiny bit, they should start producing like crazy. We had a good time on Slim Twiggy's Saturday Night Live. That was fun. Well, I missed whatever that is about Slim's fire pit. Yeah, it was funny. 10 days is too much. And I only have, another week of my water restrictions. And I should be able to water all I want to whenever I want. So I'm trying desperately to keep my plants alive until the water restrictions are lifted. 10 days is too long. Well, we got 20, no, did have 20, dropped to 19. Yeah, see, that's what I did one summer when I planted in the ground and I had so many cucumbers, zucchini, and squash. I was watering early in the morning and then I watered again late in the at night. And since I can't do, and that was every day, and I can't do that now. Thank goodness I've got a lot of stuff in totes that's holding water, because that's the only thing that's saving some of my plants is that reservoir of water in the bottom. Because I water on my watering day and then I water halfway through the week. That's only twice a week, and that's not enough to keep my plants healthy. Is Slim cooking? Linda, you miss me, Gladys? Well, I miss being live because I love talking to everybody. It's the next best thing of having people right here at my house is to go in live and you can chat back and forth. Yes, I missed you. Yeah, I've got all of my stuff basically in pots, totes, and buckets because I've got so much grass in the garden. I said I just, I need to put them in totes and buckets and pots so I can have some kind of water reservoir in the bottom of most of them to have any chance of survival for my plants. Good morning, Jody Jackson. Welcome. Welcome. I'm glad you could join us. How's your morning going? Get you a cup of coffee. Sit and chat with us a while. April says, I live with my dog out in the boonies. Sometimes that's the best place to live, April. I mean, you live out in the boonies, you're so far out nobody bothers you. You can do whatever you want to do. Me too, Slim Twiggy. I wasn't even fully awake when I started this live this morning. I had fixed my cup of coffee, but I wasn't awake yet. Somebody's talking about me. My nose is itching this morning. Yeah, it seems like he's basically mine. He's over here all the time. But he still goes around the neighborhood. He visits a lot of people, a lot of my neighbors. And he goes home to his own home occasionally. He's the neighborhood cat. TTT Sharon says the only things in the ground is asparagus, carrots, beets, radish, and melons. Well, I had that winter squash that was growing so good till the old hornworm or squash borer bug or whatever you call those things got to it. That with the combination of the heat killed both of my uh, winter squash plants that were growing all over the ground that was so pretty. I hated that because I just knew I was going to have me some winter squash. I haven't replanted any. I still may do that. I'm not sure. I may drop a couple more seeds in those same bags in the ground and see what it'll do between now and cold weather. Because that is a squash. They grow pretty fast. And I'm hoping, just like my squash and zucchini, my yellow squash, I'm hoping by the time it comes up and starts growing, this heat wave will be subsided some, and my plants will have a chance to survive and produce. Yeah, he loves everybody, I think, though. I know if it's not the heat, it's the bugs, isn't it? It's the bugs, the hornworms, or something that's going to get your plants in spite of everything you do. I pull most of my garlic. I've been eating it, putting it in a lot of dishes that I've been cooking. Yeah, and weeds, and that's one reason I went ahead and planted in totes and pots this year, to kind of keep the grass down, the weeds. Because I've got Bermuda grass growing in my garden area now, and you know how that stuff is if you've ever had it. You water your plant, and that Bermuda grass takes over. See, when I plant in the ground this time of year, the ground is so dry and so hard, you can't hardly water your plants enough to keep them alive. Yeah, the worms got my squash too, just a southern girl. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Yeah, I've never had those worms get that bad on my squash plants before. But this year, they were unreal. They took out just about every single one of my squash plants. Winter squash, yellow squash, zucchini, every bit of it. I think I've got maybe 4 plants left out there that have survived, and I don't know if they'll produce anything. But I'm not giving up. I know what kind of stuff I can grow out there. I mean, I've done it before. I know it makes you sick. You do all that work and effort you put into growing your garden, and the bugs take over, and what the bugs don't devour, the sun destroys, the heat. But this has been an unusual hot, dry summer this year. Slim Twiggy says, Gladys, you need me to cook you some breakfast. I'm still waking up. Yeah, my tomatoes didn't get very big either. But I've still got some good looking tomato plants out there. And as soon as this heat dies down a tiny bit, those tomato plants are going to start producing tomatoes. Slim's too much partying. Gladys is telling Slim, I like my bacon well done. I like mine crispy. We're all going to Slim Twiggy's house for breakfast this morning. We'll all meet you there. I think that's going to be a far piece to go for breakfast, though. Might take us a while to get there. But Slim should have that breakfast done by the time we get there anyway. April says, okay, that's not not too far from me. I thought you were fixing you a cup of coffee a little while ago, Slim Twiggy. What's up with that? You should have your coffee by now. Gladys says, pick me up. Yeah, get to moving, Slim Twiggy. You got breakfast for 26 or 25 women to fix this morning. We're coming over. We're going to eat breakfast with you. Could you imagine if all 25 of us showed up at Slim Twiggy's door for breakfast? That would blow her mind, wouldn't it? Had a fire last night with my son for his birthday. Could cook breakfast for all of you. You drink hot tea. I drink hot tea too sometimes, Gladys. I'll bring home fries. I'll bring the rolls. Hi, Randy Ross. How are you doing this morning? I've been wanting to have a fire out there in my fire pit, but it's been too hot. Chicken and dumplings my favorite. I love chicken and dumplings too. But when it's 105 or 106 degrees outside, the last thing you want to do is put a fire in a fire pit. A mountain wedding yesterday. I bet it was beautiful. And mangoes. I'm weird like that. I'm going to be a 5-star breakfast. Yeah, Slim better get busy. She's got about 25 people to cook breakfast for. We're all coming over. I know. I avoid turning my oven on with a passion when it's hot weather. I hate turning that oven on. Trying to grow enough for a year. Well, there's some people that live in the low-lying areas around me where their ground stays a lot moist and where mine doesn't. They have a lot better luck growing a garden than I do. They don't even have to water theirs. Yeah, I can imagine, Slim Twiggy. If all 25 of us showed up at your front door for breakfast, you wouldn't know what to do. All I got to say is breakfast better be good. I go all the way to Slim Twiggy's house. Breakfast better be darn good. Yeah, Slim she'd handle it. Yeah, you'd think you were dreaming if we all showed up, especially since most of us would have to come from the States. Like me, all the way from Texas or from Florida, California. I could cook for 20. You have a good day as well, just a Southern girl. We're not going to be on here too much longer. I think I've been giving it a pretty good test. It's been doing pretty good on my end. I don't know if it's been that good on everybody else's end or not, but it doesn't appear to have buffered or gotten fuzzy like it does in the afternoon. Looks good here, April says. Good. And Gladys says it's good on her end. Well, that's nice to know. I might start going live in the mornings instead of wait until later in the afternoon. Just have coffee with everybody. Have my first cup of coffee of the day chatting with everybody. Oh, Slim Twiggy, don't tell me you're going to get rain today. I need rain so bad. My garden needs rain so bad. Send me some. Really, TT Sharon, you live that close. Wow. You're neighbors then. No rain yet, Linda. Oh, we've not had rain in so long. I just don't know. The ground is so hard and dry. I think the rain would just bounce off and evaporate. Wow, we're up to 30 now. That's pretty good. Oh, yeah, what I would not do for a nice pour down rain. Oh, my God. Gladys lives in Connecticut, far away. Yeah, you're pretty good ways from me. Oh, TTT Sharon, you've got nephews in Glenrose and Cleburne. And that's, I'd go to Cleburne and Glenrose quite often. In fact, I go through Cleburne every time I go to my son's house. My garden believe it or not, even though it got up to 113 degrees a few days last year, my garden did 75% better than what it's doing right now. At least I had tons of hot peppers. I had okra, tomatoes. I even made chow chow with my green tomatoes. I had so many peppers, I made pint jars full of cowboy candy with my hot peppers. Even my rose bushes right now are struggling. You know, I've already lost that last little rose bush that we planted, the one that I rooted over, it was the last one that I rooted and planted. It got too hot on it too fast before it could put roots down, and it died. But so far, all of them along the property line and the arbor out here are looking halfway decent. Yeah, we need something. There was a bad fire when we came home from the mountain, probably fireworks, because, yeah, that unfortunately a lot of times during 4th of July holiday, there's usually a fire break out somewhere just from the sparks from the fireworks. That's one reason that the city here shoots the fireworks over the lake, so any of the sparks that fall will fall in the water and not cause a fire. Yeah, I hope the rain gets here too, Slim Twiggy. I tell you, this ground, you saw these movies, out west, when the cowboys are riding across the desert and the ground is so dry it's got cracks in it. That's the way it is here right now. We literally have cracks in the ground. It's so dry. Well, one year I had so many squash, cucumbers, and zucchini. I was pickling all of it. I made pickles out of squash and zucchini that tasted just as good as a cucumber pickle. I mean, I had quart jars full of them. I was giving them away to neighbors. So, I know I can grow vegetables here. It's just been this unusual hot, dry summer we can't do anything with. But anytime you plant a garden, you can't predict the weather. You can't predict how that growing season's going to be. I mean, it's a lot easier in a wetter climate than it is here, but, I've had some pretty good gardens here in the past. Well, Randy Rose, you have a fantastic day as well. I'm glad you popped in. I think I've been on here for about an hour, so I'm probably going to be getting off. I think we've had a pretty good test, so yeah, and like I said, I basically got on this morning to test my Wi-Fi to see how it would do earlier in the day. So we may start having a cup of coffee with Linda in the mornings. Yeah, I got to get things done while it's still cool. So I appreciate each and every one of you that took the time to pop in. I appreciate it dearly. I love each and every one of my subscribers. And I hope all of you have a fantastic day. Stay cool. Pray for rain. Do a rain dance. Tell everybody you like my paper quilting. Well, thank you, April. I'm glad you like that. I figured there was some ladies out there that might like to see that maybe didn't know about sewing quilt squares on paper. Yeah, all of you have a great day. I'm going to sign off. Tell everybody to please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And like I said, y'all have a blessed day. I'll see you on my next one. Bye.